Hi, welcome to today's video. I thought within this one I would show you how I'm getting on with the 1917 so far. Started using this book at the beginning of March. I was having a bit of a moment with my notebooks and my system and feeling essentially overwhelmed by having multiple books on the go. So I ended up reducing my system down to the 1917 plus my Hobonichi A6, and it's been about a month now and I'm getting on all right with it. So I thought I'd show you how I'm using this. One thing I will say is it's not the most aesthetically pleasing book, but it's been a really practical, useful space for me. And that's the whole point, isn't it, at the end of the day, is to make use of things. So I will talk you through that. So just briefly starting with the front cover. I've got a couple of stickers on here. This is a Studio Ghibli sticker. This came as part of a set and I received it as a gift, so I'm not too sure where it's from originally. I've got this caution. This is a haunted object sticker. This is from a store on Etsy, so I'll pop that link in the description. This is from Doomsday Co, and this is one of my own stickers as well. If it's not something you're already aware of, then you might be, this might be the first time you're watching one of my videos. I'm an artist. I create prints, and I also have some stickers in my shop, so I'll link that below as well. So, getting into the book. This is the first time I was using one of these 1917 books, so I was integrating the best bits of books that I'd used in the past, essentially, to try and make this a good place where I could journal if I wanted to journal. I could write very quick, messy notes. Yeah, it's a bit of everything. I call it my brain on paper. So you'll see here I've got some different coloured dots. This is sort of taken from how a lot of people will utilise a dot sticker within a commonplace book. Now really this isn't a commonplace book. I don't think it's really sort of appropriate to call it that, because it is 99% my own thoughts and feelings rather than collecting quotes and information as such. There's a little bit of that in here, but not majorly. And then I've got sort of a pad of sticky notes here just in case I need those. I've got a gloomy kid here, so you'll see it's on this sort of black backing. I've used this as a bookmark in the first few months of the year, but I've got a couple of those. I had a bit of play and did this with a couple of things. For instance, I've got another one here. The light might be reflecting, so you might not see that too clearly. So I thought actually it's kind of a nice thing to put on this contents page where I didn't really have any other image to put here. So that's there. Just to very quickly talk you through this key. So yellow is for to-do lists, blue is for video and art, orange is for recommendations and resources, this darker blue into purple is for tarot and astrology, pink is for health, green is for quotes, and red is for research and politics. I've got a couple more stickers here actually. This one is from Colour Cafe, this is a Slow Quest one, and this is one that I found on Redbubble. Started off with to-do lists and also lists of things to sell on Facebook Marketplace, questions that I'd been asked in a Q&A previously, a to-do list for the week. So something that I've mentioned in a couple of my videos in the past is that I was in the cousin last year, I'm in the A6 this year, and I quite miss having a weekly layout. So this is to sort of supplement that, having this weekly to-do list, and you'll see that pop up a few times. I made a note of digital art I had as a work in progress and a list of things to pack for a trip. I've got here my big life list. So these are the bigger things that I want to do and want to achieve in the coming weeks and months. And I've got this Midori page mark here, so it's easy for me to come back and refer to this page. Similarly on this page I've got drawing ideas and video ideas, so the Midori clip is helpful so I can see what's on this page, but also this page. A list of media recommendations, so mostly these are books or people to look into. A little box here about general research sites to go to, so I'm trying to spend less time on social media, trying to actually explore the internet, kind of like as I might have done as a kid. So those are good jumping off points for that kind of thing. Some feedback that I'd received about my website, some notes that I'd taken to do with a documentary that I was being interviewed in, some notes about a tarot spread that I did. I've got a to-do list here, You'll see bits of decoration throughout, but this really is more of a practical space for me. So it crops up now and again, you know, if I've got a particular composition that I like the idea of, or colours that go together. But more often than not, this book is more just text, walls of text. So here I've got a response I did for a government consultation. So I've got my main thoughts here, and then additional thoughts, additional notes, that sort of thing on the side. So kind of like a margin space. Got a to-do list here, notes from videos that I'd been watching, notes about visual trends, because I'm interested in sort of graphic design and that sort of thing. So that was from a video I'd seen on that. Sort of this weekly to-do list, and something that I do quite often is I'll split it to art and video versus what needs doing at home. I copied up some quotes, so I do sometimes copy up quotes. These were all from Unmasking Autism, so I put them all together, which I think was a good way to do things. Some ideas for some Redbubble drawings to do. This weekly to-do list again, so art and video on this side, things to do at home on this side. I'd seen this comic online, so I printed it off with my thermal printer, had some thoughts on it that I wrote at the side here. The weekly to-do list. On this particular day, I was toying with whether or not to get an e-reader and thinking about pros and cons, so I wrote that out. I find that's quite a helpful way to get my thoughts out of my head and make a bit more sense of them. This is stuff to do with my art shop and the quantities that I'd ordered when I was expecting things, and then also, kind of importantly, making sure that any envelopes or bags and that kind of thing that I was ordering were going to be the right size for the prints and stuff. This is a bit of writing I did about Aries season and the spring equinox, so that's falling into that sort of astrology and tarot category. You can see there. Here I've got a note, you know, it's only Thursdays, but I'm starting to think about what I need to do next week, and wrote a brief list. Here I've got a to-do list again. I quite like this decoration here. This is a nice little collection of things. I use Procreate a lot to draw, but I've very much learned as I've gone along up until this point. So I spent some time last week writing out loads of notes about some of the more sort of technical aspects, ways to work smarter, not harder, and all that. That goes on for a few pages. I've written up a song here, Parting Glass. Boy Genius recently did a cover of it after Sinead O'Connor passed away, and that particular version of it's really beautiful and makes me quite emotional. So yeah, I wrote that up. My order arrived for the art shop, and so I was just writing down, essentially doing a bit of a stock check, what quantities I'd ordered, and then what kind of photographs I wanted to take for the shop. When my printer sends stickers, they're in an envelope, and then there's a sticker on the front of the envelope. So I took those ones rather than my stock and stuck them in here, and it was kind of it's a helpful way for me to very quickly find it as well. So here's a couple more, and then I've got a list here of the digital art that I made in March. I've got a bit of space here, so this is why I've got the bookmark in here, because any shorter notes I'll put there, but I wanted to make sure that my to-do list for this week was sort of more spread out, so that's why I've turned that page. I've gone from the sort of to-do list for the week split in two to trying out this weekly spread. So this is along the lines of what Bronte has done in her common planner and what she's currently doing in the cousin as well on the week spreads. And I think if I do go back to a cousin next year, this is really how I'm going to utilise them, because it just feels like a really good way of making use of the space. So I've got the days of the week across here. I've got day-specific tasks and appointments and that sort of thing written there. I've got a to-do list or sort of focal points list here. And then I've got a list of things to sort of film or photograph to do with creativity. So it's a little bit like the list I had before, just split round. So the creative stuff's here, the more home-based bits are here. And that's that for now. I've done a little bit of decoration in these pages. So yeah, I'm 42 pages in, and it's only been a month. So I imagine this is probably going to last me 4, 5, maybe 6 months, and I think that's really good going. So I'm getting on well with it. I think the only downside is obviously if I'm going to take this out and about with me, I need a bigger bag. Usually I go out with a backpack if I'm out for the day, so that's absolutely fine. But I find that if I'm just popping out somewhere, I'll take the A6 but not this, and then sometimes I'll want to make a note in here and I don't have it on me. So I'd say that's maybe the only slight downside at the minute, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm at home most of the time anyway, realistically. So yeah, that's the 1917. I'm primarily using the Hobonichi uni ball pen in here, and getting on with it absolutely fine. So if anyone was interested, that is how I'm getting on in that book. See you next time. Bye bye.